Hey guys, so we've been working on Graham's FG F6. Originally he wasn't going to let us put this up on social media, but he's had a change of heart, which is great, because this is one of the jobs that I really wanted to show customers and showcase the turbocharger that we've had built for this one. So all looks relatively stock to the naked eye. As you can see, it's got the decent front cover on it. Kip from ATP Turbochargers in Melbourne, Victoria. So he does all our custom turbo work, and we gave him this one. This turbo, when it came to us, the customer had a GDW on it, which was done many years ago, and the bearing housing failed, so it destroyed all the bearings, and it already had the rear housing modified for that style turbo. So Kip was like, man, we've got a good foundation. Let's make a banger out of this thing. So he's done his version of a 4088. It's not exactly the same as a 4088, but it's very similar. Hence the reason why we're calling it that. But it's worked well. And in the video that I did a few days, I did one up on TikTok or whatever it was. I was worried about boost control and all that sort of stuff. And you can see that if you can get down there, we're still running the the internal wastegate, and I was a bit concerned whether it was going to give us boosting issues. I was like, yeah, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. I wasn't overly concerned because we'd already planned to run like 28, 30 pound of boost in this anyway, so I wasn't worried if I could get the boost under 20 or 22. So I figured, let's just try it out. Let's see what it does. And mate, it has absolutely well and truly exceeded what I thought it would do. Minimum boost ended up being 22 pound, and that's on spring pressure. So I'm pretty sure we could get it pretty lower than that too. So, but it has worked really well. So this is the part that everyone's probably waiting to see. So there's the power before. So 582, 990, 1 Newton meters of torque. That's around sort of 26 pound of boost. And then with the new turbo, 648 kilowatts, 1,000 Newton meters. And that's your boost curve right here. So we're tapping 30 pound of boost by around sort of 6,000 revs. And then we start off at around sort of 20, where are we? Sort of like just around 27 pound, and then we sort of increase it up. So with the Barras, we like to chase the torque. So a lot of people like to just throw all the boost in at the bottom end, and it's kind of not the right way to tune an engine. Sorry, it's not the right way to tune an engine. I believe when you're tuning these things, you should probably chase the torque line, and by doing that, you save the engine. So you don't need to bring in all this massive amount of torque in the bottom end. It's always good to feed it in the top end as RPM increases, and chase the torque line, and try and strive to have the flattest torque curve that you can have, and that's what we're trying to achieve. So, but as you can see, this turbo, even though it's a lot bigger, have a look how much better it is. It is on way earlier, like it's crazy. If you look at the speed down here, that's 130 k's an hour. That's 105 k's an hour. You know what I mean? So you got 350 kilowatts, 30 odd kilometers an hour earlier in the bottom end. So that's huge. For a turbo like this, I was expecting to lose 1,000, 1,500 RPM with spool up, but we've picked up. So even though we've gone bigger on the turbo, we've actually picked up bottom end response, and that's not something you get these days a lot. So if you're extremely undersized in the turbo, then you will expect to see that sort of thing. But in this case, I didn't think we'd see it. So it's done exceptionally well. And if we bring up the torque, like I'll bring the torque line up from this side, so you can see it. So once it loads up, so you can see there, like the torque is on way earlier. The thing just pulls on power now, amazing. And then it's very similar through the middle here, but like I said before, we chased the torque. So I didn't want to give it any more torque through the mid-range. I just wanted to keep the torque following in the top end, and that's sort of how you save these things. So I know people are making way more power than this, but as a tuner, you've got to tune an engine to survive and to live, and that's all what we're doing. Could I put more power in the bottom here? Absolutely. Could we put another 50 kilowatts in here? Absolutely. But you know what? The tyres are going to spin just as hard at 450 kilowatts as they are at 500 kilowatts, and it'd be the same at 600 kilowatts. So rather than just dump all the power in, feed the power in, and when we get to the track, if the car doesn't break traction, we give it more power and we keep going with that. So yeah, big shout out to Kip from ATP for doing an absolute banger job on this turbo. First time lucky, did exactly what we wanted to do. Could not be any happier with it. I think this is probably one of the best Barra turbos we've ever done as a T3 frame. You know, it isn't a direct bolt on. You do need to modify your oil lines and all that. A little bit of work involved, but a lot less work involved than having to remake all your dump pipe and manifolds and intercooler pipes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a practical and feasible arrangement. So he's done a good job. But anyway, guys, that's my little review on that custom turbo that we've been working on. I'll try and put as many photos as I can in the in this video. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but I'll do my best to do it. I'm not a fancy editor by any means. So, but anyway, guys, have a good weekend. I'll try and post this up over the weekend. If I don't, then yep, it is what it is. But yeah, stay safe. See you next time. Catch up.